Let's get more on this with Marwan Bishara, Al Jazeera senior political analyst. He joins us from London. Thank you for your time today, Marwan. So Biden's comment, come to Jesus remark, it appears to indicate Biden's frustration with Israel. But what is slightly more confusing is, given the enormous leverage the US has over Israel, why the Israelis don't seem to be listening unless the US are not actually using that leverage.
Well, yes, absolutely. I mean, this whole thing is becoming so comical if it wasn't all so tragic in Gaza. But definitely the relationship between Biden and Netanyahu is so absurd. The fact that the American president that just committed more than $14 billion to Israel, in addition to some $40 billion in aid to a country that is, rather doing well in general, but is kind of squeezed now. There's at least so much economic and financial leverage that Washington can use against Israel or with Israel, but it's not using. And then there's the arms. America has basically opened its storage for ammunition to give to Israel. 83% of the bombs, of the ammunition used against the people in Gaza to commit the genocide in Gaza are American bombs and ammunitions, at least according to one American congresswoman. So there's so much leverage. It is so easy for the American president, if he is really serious about dictating to Netanyahu what he must do, at least on the humanitarian front. I have absolutely no doubt that he can do that without the song and dance, without the theatrics that he's involved in, without all the politics and the public relations. Washington can and must use this leverage in order for Israel to allow more humanitarian aid into Gaza and to stop the war.
Well, linking to this whole aid situation, we now have the US talking about these attempts to get aid to Gaza via some sort of maritime route. It's talking about building a port which could take 2 months to build. Many aid groups have criticized this as not being genuine. What's your take on it?
Well, there is a consensus that it's not genuine. And despite that, there are some Hamas spokespersons who are welcoming it. Hamas being pragmatic about the fact, if anyone wants to help, let it be through sea, fine. Let it be through the sea. But if the Americans are really serious, they can use the same leverage in order to erect a port, in order to establish a port, by putting that same leverage on the Egyptian government and the Israeli government to allow aid in from Egypt and from Israel into Gaza. It's not rocket science. There are hundreds of lorries already on the borders, all full of whatever is needed in Gaza, but they're just not allowed in. So really it begs the question, why go through 350 kilometers in the sea line from Cyprus, when you can just open the borders and allow the trucks in? And why continue to undermine UNRWA, even to wage a war on UNRWA by Israel, supported by the United States, when UNRWA is indispensable to get that aid distributed to the people in Gaza? Because you see, one thing is to get the aid to the port or to the border. Another thing is to get it distributed throughout Gaza to the people who need it most. And for that, we need UNRWA. And hence, UNRWA must now be honored, supported, financed, and totally protected by the likes of the United States, instead of being sanctioned and undermined by Washington and Tel Aviv.
OK, Marwan Bishara, good to get your thoughts. Al Jazeera senior political analyst.